Hello everybody, I welcome you to Economics to Us, and today in this I will be telling you about the concept of opportunity cost and its application, that is the production possibility frontier. It is one of the most important topics in economic theory, especially microeconomics, wherein we basically you will see, and you must have seen in the past of my recordings and videos, that how in all the theories that are there, whether it is theory of demand, cost, production, supply, we are our decisions of using the resources in its best possible way, and especially when the resources are scarce, the application of opportunity cost becomes very important in making these decisions about demand, cost, production, and supply, and other things as well. So today I'll explain you this. Now the concept of opportunity cost is basically that it refers to what you are sacrificing to attain the next best alternative. Now in economics, the term, for example, the cost, it is just not the inclusion of the monetary cost, okay, the cost that we bear for buying a commodity. It is also the cost of, foregoing the alternative for which the resources have been used. It's basically, as I told you earlier also, that economics, the study of economics, its base is actually the scarcity of resources. Sources are very limited, and there is always a trade-off, that supposedly I want something else of other. I have to sacrifice something else for some of my resources to attain that other alternative which I am wishing to get. So because of this opportunity cost starts. It's basically a trade-off that is there. Now a very good example will make it more clear. There are two commodities, leisure and studies. So if you choose to study, then the opportunity cost of choosing studies over leisure is the time that you have forgiven, the time that you would have spent with your friend, or the fun that you would have added to your other things. Similarly, so this is the opportunity cost of giving your time to studies. The opportunity cost is the time that you have foregone, or by not going out with your friends and enjoying yourself. Similarly, the investment decisions are also taken for various other alternatives of investments like gold, stocks, and bank deposits. So you calculate, see, there are a number of options that are available for investment also nowadays. So you decide on how you have to invest on the basis of the returns that you expect from the other alternatives that are there. Supposedly I have to invest in golds today. So my return that I will get from gold, and my return that I will get from putting the same amount in a saving bank or in a fixed deposit, I will compare those returns and then I will make the decision. So if I am putting my money in gold deposits or in golds or in other schemes, gold schemes, I will obviously calculate the opportunity cost that is associated with it in the form of the return that I would have earned by keeping my money in the fixed deposits. So this cost of foregoing my money will be the return that I would have earned by keeping the money in fixed deposit, and this is the opportunity cost for investing in golds. So this is how you make use of opportunity cost for making these decisions according to the options that are available. Now there are types of opportunity cost. Two types, basically explicit and implicit cost. Explicit cost is that it is direct monetary payment for any economic activity. What I'm going somewhere, I'm paying for that activity. That is my explicit cost. I'm making the payment directly. Implicit cost is the cost associated with your own belongings. For example, machinery or home used for production of goods. Supposedly I have my home, it's a big house, I have a empty space there, I'm using that space for doing carrying over my production activities for the business. So this is an implicit cost. Just now, how you calculate that implicit cost is dependent upon the cost, the rent that you would have paid if you would have opened up a production unit outside your home. So this is the implicit cost that is always involved, while making the calculating the total cost that you're bearing for the production. So this implicit cost is very important to be taken into account for. And similarly, we take it for the opportunity cost also. Secondly is individual versus social opportunity cost. Individual, as the name suggests, it's the cost associated with a single individual person activity, whatever he is carrying over. Whereas on the other hand, social opportunity cost is the cost that is associated when the society sacrificed resources used for the next best alternative use for society. A very good example which I can quote here is, many a times for building up roads, people sacrifices their house, a certain portion of their houses, or or the trees are being cut out. So this is the opportunity cost, or an environmental opportunity cost is associated when trees are cut for constructing roads. So this is the social opportunity cost, wherein the cutting of trees, the cost of those cutting of trees will be borne by the whole society. So this is what is the type of opportunity cost is. Now I'll tell you the other important concept is the production possibility frontier, which is basically the application of opportunity cost. As you can see a graph here, I'm taking up the same example of leisure and education. The x-axis has education, the y-axis has leisure. So supposedly production possibility for frontier is basically, finding out the combination of two commodities in whichever two commodities you are confused about, rather, finding out a combination to attain the best combination wherein all your resources will be optimally utilized. Now suppose a student is happy with a combination C, but as he moved gradually to a higher grade, he has to obviously sacrifice some of his leisure for more studies, and he reaches the point D, where he has sacrificed his leisure time from 75 to 50. His happiness level, I would say, I'm just quoting it for making it more easy, otherwise it's very tough to measure happiness. But yes, there are ways out which we'll be telling and dealing with in future. For sure, I'll be telling you this also. So he's sacrificing certain portion of his leisure to gain this educational standards. So there is this opportunity cost associated of taking more education, which he has sacrificed by devoting his, by sacrificing his leisure time, which he would have used for his friends and family. So this is, he has attained a better position. He is on the same frontier, I'm telling you to make it more simplified. Otherwise, as the name suggests, it's the production possibility frontier. So whenever we have to make productions, for two commodities, then we make use of this production possibility frontier, wherein the output will remain same, but the combinations of output that we have to produce by making use of labor capital, we decide through this graph that how the labor and capital will be utilized, to make the same level of output. And this is a very, if you go in depth, you will see that it is not only how you will derive that which combination of capital and labor should be used. Now this solely depends upon various other factors. Whether it is price that is paid to labor and capital, what is the difference in their prices, what is the comparative advantage if you're producing in certain country, which resource has a comparative advantage there, that depends. Thirdly, what skills of labor you are using, what is the type of production that you are using. If suppose it's a labor intensive commodity, you will obviously use more of labor. If it is a capital intensive commodity, you will use more of capital. So there are n number of factors on which a production is dependent upon. The only thing which I want to tell you here in the production possibility frontier is that how you're making use of opportunity cost. That is, a trade-off has to be there. You have to sacrifice certain portion of your commodities to attain the others. So this is its application. Now, the other point of the opportunity cost and its application is the comparative advantage. It is the basis of trade among countries. Supposedly, there are two countries who are involved in the trading up of coffee and technology. So, the countries, if suppose the comparative advantages in whichever resource, in whichever commodity a country is having its advantage, okay, of being more efficient in producing it, so then the country will use it. If they are not efficient of producing that commodity, they will not surely be involved in it. There might be some other country who is more efficient in producing some other commodity. So for example, country A is efficient in producing coffee due to its lower opportunity cost as it has abundant labor. For production of coffee, for sure, more of labor is required. We all know that. And a higher opportunity cost is if that country is involved more in technology production. So obviously, this country A will not be involved in producing any technology. They will be more involved in producing coffee as it has its comparative advantage there. Rather, country B is more efficient in producing technology because it has more of capital, as technology production is more capital intensive. So country B has a comparative advantage in producing technology. So country A will produce coffee as it has a comparative advantage of being labor intensive. It has abundant labor, and coffee involves more labor, so they will be producing coffee. And technology will be produced by country B because they are capital abundant country and technology requires more capital. So their opportunity cost of capital is lower, whereas in country A the opportunity cost of labor is lower. So these both the countries will decide upon their comparative advantages according to their opportunity cost, and will get into trade according to their opportunity cost. Whichever country, in whichever commodity they have a lower opportunity cost, they will start producing that and will trade with each other. So this is the second application of opportunity cost theory. Now, other applications of opportunity cost theory is in the form of the government budget allocation. Funds are allocated according to the opportunity cost concept. Whichever resource or whichever area, or segment or sector, whatever you can call it as, has lower opportunity cost, the funds will be allocated from that sector to the other sector where the opportunity cost is very high of or where the requirement is very high. Next is health resource allocation. In similar way, the resources are allocated according to the concept of opportunity cost in different departments and its usage. Environmental policies, when we decides about whether the cutting of trees, what opportunity cost does the cutting of trees has, it is always higher. But there are many a times that for the infrastructural development, the cutting of trees becomes very, very important. Otherwise, without it, it is not possible to go for any developmental activity. So in that case, the opportunity cost theory always says that this infrastructural development is more important than the opportunity cost of losing up trees. So in that case, yes, the project is decided that we will build up, we'll go for infrastructural development rather than looking into the environmental aspect. Though nowadays it is always high that the opportunity cost of environmental degradation is always higher. Rest is, as I explained you in the last slide also, about the investment decisions, that how the investments are undertaken, whether it is for the FDIs, whether it is for the FIIs, whatever it all is based on this opportunity cost theory. So here I'll end up my presentation. Thank you so much for listening to me so patiently, and I hope I have been able to make you understand this concept, a very important concept rather, in a very meaningful way. Thank you so much for your patience and understanding. Goodbye.